Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the video. Please like and subscribe and click the little bell icon so we can earn our black belt on the YouTube algorithm. Speaking of black belts, today I would like to talk about the black belt, specifically the MuSool black belt, or the black belt you would earn at MuSool Martial Arts if you would continue your training long enough and obtain our knowledge. A student at MuSool Martial Arts can earn a black belt in either Taekwondo or Hapkido. At the time of this video, MuSool Martial Arts is 20 years old, and we are about to test our 50th black belt. I am MuSool Black Belt number 1. The other two founders of MuSool Martial Arts are black belts number 2 and 3. The black belt itself is a fairly new concept that came about in the 1880s when Kodokan Judo founder Jakiro Kano needed a way to know if his students were progressing or not. Later, martial arts like karate and different styles of jiu-jitsu adopted the belt system for the same reason. Prior to getting the black belt in most schools, students are known as Q rank in Japanese or Gup rank in Korea. These titles go with the color belt system and usually count backwards from 10th Q or Gup as a white belt and to 1st Q or Gup to the belt right before the black belt is earned. The black belt ranks are known as Dan ranks in both Japan and Korea. Dan simply means degree. Korea also has a Puma black belt for students under the age of 15 years old in Taekwondo. The black belt is quite an accomplishment in any style. It means that the basics of that martial art has been learned and more advanced techniques are now available for the student to obtain. As mentioned earlier, the black belt is in a lot of martial arts. I'll be talking specifically about MuSool martial arts and what is needed to obtain the MuSool black belt. First and foremost, the MuSool black belt is not an international black belt like you would find through the Kukiwan for Taekwondo or the Kodokan for Judo. It is a school black belt. In Taekwondo, the black belt can obtain a Kukiwan if they desire through MuSool. It is not necessary, but if you want an international black belt, we can make that happen. To obtain the title of MuSool black belt in either Taekwondo or Hapkido, the student must be a high red belt in Taekwondo or a brown belt in Hapkido. They must have attended MuSool Martial Arts for at least 1 year if they have transferred from another martial arts school, and completed the MuSool Advanced Training Techniques or MATS program under a current MuSool black belt, and be recommended by their MATS instructor to go through the MuSool black belt selections. Once the student enters the MATS program and is assigned a MuSool black belt, that student is now known as a MATS candidate or a Jija. In Korea, there is not really an age restriction for a student to receive a Pum black belt in Taekwondo. At MuSool Martial Arts, we like to wait until the student is in at least middle school before they go through the MATS program, though there are exceptions to that rule. Taekwondo is also a sport, so rank helps place students in the correct divisions at tournaments. In Hapkido, the student must be at least 16 years old. However, to this date, the youngest to have obtained a MuSool black belt in Hapkido was 18 years old, and the oldest in their 50s. The youngest to have earned a black belt in Taekwondo was 10, and the oldest was in his 60s. At MuSool Martial Arts, the student will train about 5 years before they are ready for the MATS program. This time frame is if the student is continuously training over those years. Let us talk about MATS. MATS is at least 6 months length. Some candidates remain in the program longer. The MATS program has 3 phases. The first phase is 1 month, and it's a physical phase. This phase, the candidate must run the MuSool mile and a half in under 15 minutes, do the required push-ups and required sit-ups. Phase 2 is a 3-month skills phase where we tighten up the candidate's mental and physical skills. The candidate also learns how to break down the techniques and teach them to the lower belts. The final phase is a 2-month combat phase where the student puts his skills to the test usually in a way of sparring. In Taekwondo, this means a lot of Olympic-style sparring and some self-defense sparring. Hapkido candidates will be sparring at all ranges. This means sparring can be kickboxing, standing grappling, ground grappling, or a combination of any mentioned above. In Taekwondo, the mats candidate will do 3 black belt checks in front of the black belt board. Hapkido students also continue to test at each testing in a less formal setting. After mats is completed and the mats instructor gives the candidate permission to test, the candidate can now take part in a Mosul black belt selection. Once a candidate passes the Mosul black belt selections, they'll be known as a Mosul black belt, and their rank will be first degree black belt. The Mosul black belt should start thinking about higher Dan Pum rankings. This is done by attending classes, teaching classes, and taking on a mats candidate of their own. All too often, in the United States, a student thinks the black belt is the end, when in fact, it is the beginning. This just isn't for Mosul black belts, but black belts in all schools and styles. So, this is just a little bit about what it takes to earn your Mosul black belt. I'm sure other martial arts schools have their processes. If you are from another martial arts school, feel free to post in the comments what it takes to earn a black belt at your studio. I am really curious on how other schools test their elite students. Remember, always train as hard as you can for as long as you can. I'll see you in the next video.